Welcome to the Daily Nugget, daily property insights, one topic, 20 minutes or less. Myself, Lawrence Lotze. Today I'm joined by Andrew Armstrong, a mortgage specialist, as well as a fellow property investor. And AJ, the question to you, sorry, I say AJ because I call him AJ. Some people know him as Andrew. I call him AJ. Today the question to you is, buying your first home in New Zealand using your Kiwisaver or the Home Start grant, what's the process and how can that be done?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a question that we get asked all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Question on everyone's lips. How do we do it? What do we do? What are the rules? What are the regulations, etc.? So, short and sweet. If you've been contributing to Kiwisaver for 3 years or more, consecutive or a cumulative of 3 years, you may be eligible to borrow or get your Kiwisaver contributions out. Leaving about $1,000 or leaving $1,000 residual there. You do this by essentially speaking with your solicitor, and they will go to your provider and ask to get that released on the condition that you've got a live deal. You've got something that you're going to buy. You can borrow single. So you can take it out as single, or you can borrow with others. So that might be a significant other, or even a group of family member. We've done one recently where we've got mum, dad, and a couple of kids, all pulling everything else out to buy their first house together, which is pretty amazing.
But I want to make it clear, it's your first home, right? So this isn't something that I can buy. I already own a home, and then I go back to Kiwisaver and say, hey, I want to buy my investment property. This is your first purchase ever under your name.
Yep, first purchase ever under your own name. There are certain circumstances where you've got a second chance withdrawal. That's where you may have owned a property in the past, but due to whatever circumstances, you've sold that property and you had never taken the Kiwisaver out for the first house. There are circumstances that you can do that as well. And again, we see that quite often. It's not hard. There are just a few other checks that we need to go through first.
And what about the Home Start grant? You know, you're talking about Kiwisaver, the Home Start grant. How's that different? What does that give you?
Yeah, so the Home Start grant, depending on whether or not you're buying a new or existing property, you can get up to $5,000 for each year that you've been contributing to Kiwisaver for an existing house, or up to $10,000 for a new build. And again, that's top of mind at the moment for a lot of people. It's hot topic: new builds.
Yep.
There are house caps on that, which almost seem almost unobtainable. They're pretty hard to do it, but that it's not impossible. And if you're wanting to get a bit of an idea of what those are, Auckland, for example, an existing house needs to be $625,000 or less, or a new build $700 or less. Other sort of hot areas being the likes of Wellington, which is what are we looking at there? $550 for an existing one, $650 for a new build. Yep. And the rest of New Zealand. I mean, all of this information is available online.
Totally. Yeah. So you're talking about the cap at the moment, right? So yes, those numbers of those caps, and it's something we've spoken previously before as well. But if I meet and I find the property, what's the maximum I can get paid out under the Home Start grant? So you're talking about $5,000 and $10,000. What is the maximum under this grant that's naturally people will find? Because if I'm only going to get given $5,000 towards a $700,000 house, it doesn't make any benefit.
Yeah, so $700,000, you'd get up to 10 per person. So 2 people, $20,000. Yep, might not sound like a lot, but it does make a difference. If those 2 people are buying an existing house for $625,000 or less, they'll get $5,000. So you can see how it's more geared towards getting people into new build properties. Now, there are also income caps on that. So, if you earn $1 million a year and you're buying these properties, you wouldn't be eligible. Essentially, for a single person, you need to be at $95,000, and a combined couple need to earn $150,000. The key thing here is it's 12 months preceding that, and where we see opportunity for first home buyers is where they might be on a salary now of $120,000, but they've only just recently got a pay rise, and they might have been on 90 or 95,000 for the last 12 months, and that's really where the opportunity for first home buyers are to be able to get those grants. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, AJ, and to everyone else. If you've got any questions for myself or for AJ, the details will be in the description. Depends where you're listening or watching at the moment. And as always, thanks for coming over to the Daily Nugget. One property topic a day, 7 days a week, 20 minutes or less. And